to another edition of the Sports Zone. I'm your host, Charles Hall II, with my co-pilot, Shaka Bradley, and we're bringing it to you straight up and raw with the games. This past week, we've had some tough action with the Major League Baseball. The Metropolitans from New York are going to the World Series, and they've got a young man, Daniel Murphy, who is doing something extraordinary, powerful. 6 straight home runs in the postseason, 6 straight games with a home run. He's got 7 overall. They won last night. They beat the Cubs, which means the curse of the Billy Goat still exists. Your take?
Well, they didn't just beat the Cubs. They beat the brakes off the Cubs.
They beat them bad, man.
Brought the brooms out and all that. I mean, I did not expect that. I mean, I knew the Mets were, they're playing good ball, man.
I didn't expect it either. I thought Arrieta was going to at least bring a win for him, but good hitting beat good pitching, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
this time around.
Hello, Nationals. I mean, let's take a page out of their book.
I was hoping you would say that because the Mets, that's that's up there.
That's the chief
That
rival.
could be the Nats right here, but the Mets is proving they're a better team. I'm going with the Metropolitans are proving they were better than our Nationals. At least I think so. I mean, they're getting quality pitching, and again, you can't say that about Daniel Murphy. He's doing something. It's the first time someone has hit a home run in every game of a best-of-7 series ever. In your opinion, do you think that streak will stop in the World Series in Game 1?
I mean, why would it? I mean, that's some amazing stuff. That's all-time great stuff that he's doing. And the funny thing about it is you hear that, during the regular season, he wasn't that great of a player.
They said the most games he had ever hit in terms of games was 5 in a month. And now he's knocking down 6 straight in like 6 straight games.
But it's, that's what happens in the playoffs. Special things happen in the playoffs.
You step up in the playoffs.
As my father, Henry Archer Bradley, says, you step up in the playoffs.
I can dig it. Moving over to the other side, American League ball, Toronto Blue Jays, they smacked around at Cable. Really, they did it with great pitching. As Marco Estrada went through a one-hitter, as some guys yesterday, they won Game 5 to stave off elimination. Game 6 and Game 7 is coming up. Maybe KC used all their hits because they had 14 of them in Game 5 as they smacked the Blue Jays then. So I guess it evened out. What's your take on that series right now?
I'm a little surprised at Toronto because, being a Yankee hater and a Baltimore Orioles hater.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that.
I paid attention to that division a little bit just to see what Toronto would do. And, I like David Price.
But you rooted for the O's back in the mid-'90s. That's all we had over here.
Well, that's all we had, and I didn't like what the owner said about the Nationals in the D.C. market.
That's true.
They won't let the Nationals get their own TV rights. It's a whole lot of things. We can go into that.
I can go with that.
But I followed Toronto, followed that division just to see and rooted for them to beat those Orioles and the Yankees. So I'm a little bit surprised that KC has been handling Toronto like
it looks like KC might have been a better team, and you're getting right now. You gotta think that Kane, Morales, Hosmer, them guys get their bats in order. Do you think they're a better team, or is it Batista and them guys just been off?
I mean, KC was in the World Series last year, so
that's true.
They got something that they're doing. They got some unfinished business that they want to take care of. So it very well may be that KC is just a better team. KC knows how to manufacture runs. It isn't all about hitting. When you can manufacture runs top of good hitting, you're going to be a pretty good team.
That is true. Okay, we're going to come back to that and pick that series winner. Moving on to the local topic in this week so far, the Redskins of Washington lost a tough one to the New York Jets, 34-20. Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Jets threw for 253 yards going in the secondary, along with Chris Ivory, who ran for 146 yards and a TD. And to top it off, the Redskins had a bad performance from Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They had a bad performance. Cousins only was 25 of 43, 196 yards, 1 TD pass, and a couple of INTs. The other thing is the running game has gone complete dry, like a person in the desert with no water. Where's the running game? Alfred Morris had 11 carries, 21 yards. Chris Thompson had 5 carries, 12 yards. What's up with the Skins?
Well, Kirk is Kirk. That's what's up with the Skins. The running game I'm very surprised about. That going into the season, that was the one thing I thought.
They're not even going to the running game anymore. They just abandoned the running game.
That's Steve Spurrier 2.0. This is why I call Gruden Steve Spurrier 2.0. He doesn't like to run the ball. He didn't do it at Cincinnati. We knew that when they hired him. this is the result. So, it doesn't surprise me, but I am a little surprised, let me say, that the running game is struggling like it is. I mean, you got to give Morris more than 11 carries.
Yes, indeed.
I understand, if it's not working, you kind of don't want to stay with it. You can't keep running into a wall if it's not working, but you got to get more than
Do you think they have lost confidence in Morris? Because the last 3 games, the first game against Miami, he was a workload. He was a horse. Even they lost the game, he was a straight up horse. The second game, when they won at home, what's the other man's name? Not Chris Thomason.
Jones.
Yeah, Matt Jones was the workload. He was the horse that time. So do you think Alfred Morris kind of lost favor out of the coaching staff?
Well, I think it's a little bit of the passing game not being clicking. You got to sustain drives.
He's going to stack the line. That's true.
So, if you can't make plays in the passing game, it's going to be tougher to run the ball. You got to have somebody who can make something. Like, the team needs somebody that can make something happen. So, if the passing game isn't clicking, that's going to make it a lot tougher on the running game, on top of the coach not wanting to run the ball to begin with.
Well, now that you're hitting that, basically everyone's stacking the line and proving, saying, okay, Kurt, prove it to me. Beyond that, all week long on the radio, it's been the racial tension of how the coach is saying how he protects Kirk in his comments as opposed to how he did RG3 last year. This town the radio's been off the hook with that. Different reporters have been coming on 980 giving their take on ESPN. Now I got you here. What is your take on that?
That's always a touchy subject. People get uncomfortable when you talk about race and any politics, all these type of things, religion. It stirs up a lot of emotion, a lot of tension. Folks get their feathers ruffled. I think so, unconsciously or subconsciously, should I say, there is a difference. Well, not subconsciously, there's a difference in how the two quarterbacks are being covered.
This is me pouring sugar, folks.
So, why that is, we can go into all the different reasons. One, to play on the field, that sort of thing. Underneath it all, it makes me wonder if you got one quarterback where you gave him the blues. You talked about his family. You talked about his character. You talked about all these things, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, what have you, social media. He's the worst guy in the world. And you tell me it's because he's not playing well. So then you have the other guy who everybody wanted in. When they gave him a chance to play, it was the Kirk Cousins era. It's a new era in D.C. He's the man. The play has been no better. If we're going to be honest about it, the play has been no better.
That is very true.
And he's the one who was in an NFL offense his whole life. We won't even go there. So the play hasn't been any different between the two quarterbacks, but the way that they're being covered has been totally different. I listen to sports talk radio in this town 2 years now. They killed RG3 every single day, every Sunday.
Was it deserved?
No. That's not to say Griffin played well. He played average for somebody who allegedly doesn't know how to play NFL quarterback. He wasn't terrible. And certainly, between the two of them, Kirk Cousins isn't doing any better. But the way that he's being covered is different. So quite naturally, when you have one subject that's black, one subject that's white, that's a question that's going to be thrown in there. Even if it's not the case. I'm not saying these folks are racist or consciously making a decision to cover them differently. But it begs the question. When you see the difference in the way that they're being covered, it's a natural question. Especially when you have those two separate folks like that.
Okay. Folks, when we return from this message, we're going to cover the rest of the NFL action from the top 5 teams in the NFL and the teams still undefeated, as well as looking forward to the next games coming up this weekend. After this quick message, we'll be right back at you.
How far would you go to help someone? Would you go to the end of your driveway? Would you cross a street? Would you cross an ocean? To a place 6,000 miles from home? And how long would you go? Would you go for a week? A month? a year? Would you go for 2 years? Would you go if you could use your knowledge to teach someone, and in the process, maybe learn something yourself? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps.
Welcome back, folks. We're discussing the NFL right now. You still got some teams that are undefeated. We're talking about the Bengals, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Packers, and Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Also, the Atlanta Falcons fell for the land of the unbeaten this weekend as they lost to the Saints. Out of the teams that are undefeated, there was a lot of talk over the Broncos this past week over Cleveland, and figuring that Cleveland was going to win it, but Peyton Manning and the guys pulled it away. Manning is struggling right now. Matter of fact, I'm about to pull Manning from my fantasy team as of tonight on a real, even though they don't have a game this week, but I might start him the rest of the year. I got to see. Who impressed you this weekend?
Well, I'm going with my man Killer Cam. Going up in Seattle, even though Seattle is, their record is not as good this year. Until Seattle goes all the way off the cliff, you still got to give folks credit.
Yes, indeed.
When they go into the 12th man, or Seattle, they can pull out a win, and a come from behind win at that. When nobody knows who plays on the offense for Carolina other than Cam, so I'm most impressed with that. New England is still doing their thing. I mean, like we said last week, or like I said last week.
Yeah, you liking the Packers? They just moving along, huh?
Yeah, the Packers are just moving along, man. I mean, that division looks bad. So they're going to do what they do, and it's Aaron Rodgers. He's always successful during the regular season. So they're still doing their thing. Cincy hanging in there, doing what they need to do.
Your take on the Broncos?
Broncos, I told you I'm still not a believer in the Broncos, but that defense
wins games.
The defense is rolling. Peyton, I don't know if he's going to hold up by the time the year is over. Struggling.
He will be there in the end, man.
That's part of trying to make this old dog learn a new offense at this point, which makes absolutely no sense. That's the thing in the NFL. They like to make people fit square pegs in round holes. I mean, you got somebody like Peyton. Why would you change what he's doing at this point?
That's Greg Kubiak. He did his thing in Houston.
What thing did What thing did he do?
Hey.
Kubiak's success is being John Elway's friend.
That is very true. While we got you here, let's get to top 5 NFL teams. If you want to go from the bottom, we can work our way up.
Go from the bottom. Because they're still undefeated, because their defense probably is the best defense right now, you got to go with Denver.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They weren't in your top 5.
They weren't.
They had the Cardinals in there.
I'm still big on the Cardinals, but that loss to Pittsburgh without Big Ben, that was a little interesting to me.
Yeah. That's very true.
So I gotta take and give them a hit on that. And Broncos are undefeated. The defense is good, so I'm gonna throw them in. You reward winning. Who did I say? You got
Bengals,
the
Patriots,
Bengals.
Panthers,
I'm still
Packers.
going with the Patriots number 1 until somebody beats them. I'm still going with them number 1. Cincinnati number 2. Carolina off that strong win, they still rolling. That's my 3rd team, and Green Bay. Because for lack of anything else, we're going to go with them in the 4th spot.
Okay. Mine's a little slightly similar to that. I've got Denver number 5, the Panthers at the 4, Packers 3, Bengals 2. Matter of fact, it's the exact same thing. Patriots number 1. Really, right now, that's the talk of the town for those 5 teams. Who can stick around the longest? So you think out of all those 5, who will last? The last man standing as an undefeated team, real quick.
Probably New England.
Okay.
Probably New England.
You don't think the Skins can knock them off in 2 weeks?
No. Okay. When you wake up, anything's possible. Wake up every day, anything's possible. But I don't see the Skins pulling that victory out, especially if Noodle Arm is playing quarterback.
Noodle Arm is in Kirk
Cousins, interception machine. If he's playing, I think that game has a chance to get ugly. But that's a little ways away.
Wow. Moving down a notch. NCAA last week, we had some good games. The biggest one was the Battle of Michigan. Michigan State surviving at Michigan with that punt block or punt muff. I'm watching the highlight of that. I couldn't believe what I saw. The guy, all they had to do was punt it away and tackle somebody. They won. And they blew it. That guy's gonna have some nightmares about that. But on the other end, Michigan State, that could propel them with that big victory. That's one of those this is going to put us over the hump. We ready to rock and roll. Your take on that game?
Man, that was the craziest thing. I sat and watched that whole game, and it was a tough rivalry battle, and something just never sat well with me with the score being so close. Mm-hmm. You know, you leave yourself for something crazy like that to happen, and in rivalry games,
those things happen.
Those crazy things happen. I mean, it was just so wild. The announcer, I believe it was Sean McDonough, the way his voice sounded when that play happened, man, it was crazy. And I'm just sitting there with my mouth just, wow, I can't believe this just happened.
I was stunned by it as well. Big news out of the number one team in the land, Ohio State. They're going to go from Cardale Jones and go to J.T. Barrett. So they're putting him back in the saddle. J.T. Barrett, some felt was going to be the starter from the get-go, only because on the offense they used that spread gun. He's a better runner than Cardale Jones. I mean, 12 gauge is a much better passer, and he got him the championship game, those 2 wins in the playoffs. Your take on that? Do you like the move, or is it too late?
No, it's not too late. I mean, they're not really going to be playing anybody, you know.
That's true.
So they're going to still rack up the wins. Not yet. He needed to settle on a quarterback before the season started, I think.
I don't think he's settled yet, though.
Probably not. But like you said, Barrett carried that team last year up until he got hurt. So they might be better suited to have him do what he does and go from there. But just pick one and let them sink or fail. You know, let them sink or swim with it. This running in and out, changing back and forth, I don't think that allows either one of them to get a proper rhythm with the team.
I can dig it. While we got you here, before we take a quick break, top 4 teams in college football right now. If it ended today, who you got going into the playoff?
You know, it's still kind of hard to do. I know we're a few weeks in now, just based on watching teams and how they're handling.
That's all we got, your eye test.
You know,
8 weeks in, your eye test.
Even though I think Baylor's a little suspect when they're gonna have to play somebody with defense, but the way that they're handling folks.
Baylor is dropping jokers off. They're blasting bounds.
Yeah, so you know, it's like they score at Will, at Steve, at whoever. They score almost whenever they want. That's so
you got Baylor.
I got Baylor. I got Utah. I think is number 2.
Okay.
You know, they're playing
Utah,
good ball. I've seen Utah a few times.
Pac-12.
They're playing good ball. You know, they look strong. TCU, I'm a little suspect with them. You know, they struggled against K-State. They struggled against another team.
So you're adding TCU?
Yeah, TCU. I'll go at TCU.
TCU.
And maybe LSU. I'm still.
And LSU's your 4th.
I'm still, you know, don't trust that they can throw the ball. But, you know.
They just beat Florida, Len Fournette.
Yeah, you know, we know that he can do. We know he's going to run the ball all over.
The Florida Speed stacked the line.
And it didn't get them a victory. So, you know, I want to see when these folks are in situations where they're going to have to throw the football. I want to see what LSU can do. But just looking at the other teams, I know Clemson is strong. Michigan State, they were lucky to win that game. Don't let those folks fool you.
It's been looking tough, though. That was a tough win, but...
That was a tough... It's more of, I would think, a tough win, a tough game by Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan
should have won. Because you didn't necessarily expect that.
I have, in no particular order right now, LSU, the eye test, for whatever reason, Clemson has not beat a soul, but I like what I've been seeing from them. Clemson. Baylor is blasting everybody, and they're doing what I think Ohio State should be doing, blowing jokers out. Baylor's doing that, so I'm impressed with their offensive numbers. At least saying, okay, you on our schedule, okay, you're going to get smacked around too. So I got Baylor, LSU, Clemson, and I'm going to throw Ohio State in there because they're the champs. I'm going to leave them in there. But that's my 4. Folks, when we come back, we're going to pick some games from the college level to the football level to the Major League Baseball American League Series. Right after this quick message.
Never look a howler monkey in the eye. We built the entire library out of recycled bottles. Fried ants are delicious.
We finished a clinic in a rainstorm.
Really?
That was a confidence builder.
My students actually ended up teaching me. So I learned this dance. I'll show you this dance.
Yeah. In la keg, a la king.
The classroom was more of a class tent. Think managing a sales team is tough. Try working with 5 different villages. My alarm clock was a rooster. Beans for breakfast, beans for lunch, beans for dinner. We ate a lot of beans. I learned a 3rd language.
My seatmate on the bus was a goat.
Always include the village elders. Always. My morning commute was by canoe. After 2 months, I was ready to quit, but after 2 years, I didn't want to leave.
I didn't know I had it in me.
Turn 2 years of service into a lifetime of experience.
Welcome back, folks. Time to pick some games. We're going to start off with Major League Baseball. Before we do that, we're going to give our picks last week. Shaka went 5-4, improving his record to 13-10. I slummed out, going 4-5, and my record dropped from 14-9. So first off, American League playoffs. We're just going to pick this on who you think is going to win the series because we got 2 games left. Toronto is down 3-2. Game 6 is coming up. KC, who do you like? It don't matter which games. Who do you think is going to win the series?
I'm going with KC.
Yeah, they did a home team. They got it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. KC's been the better team. I'm going to try my hand. You know what? I'm going to go with KC too. They got 2 games win at home. That's a good bet. KC. Even though I kind of think Toronto may do something, but I still think KC at home. It's going to be tough to beat that. Going over to the college level. Only one game between 2 ranked teams this weekend, and it comes out of the SEC. Number 15, Texas A&M, taking on number 24, Ole Miss. Texas A&M 5-1 took their first loss last week to Alabama, and it was a crushing loss. Ole Miss is 5-2. Your take on that game?
This is a hard one to call because, especially with Ole Miss just laying an egg after beating Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's disappointing. When you see a team win a big game, you kind of want to see if that's going to take them and push them forward the rest of the year, but they've kind of falling back after that win.
I agree.
Texas A&M, I'm not really sure a whole lot about them.
They wore it last week. That's enough for me.
And that's never good. It's like, you know, Alabama seems to be rolling after they lost to Ole Miss. So I'm hesitant to take Ole Miss, but I may go ahead and take them because at some point you got to pull your season together. I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row.
Wow, they lost 2 straight? I didn't realize
Well,
that.
maybe.
But, I mean, probably so. They're 5-2.
You can't afford to fall to 5-3.
That's
for
true.
sure.
I mean, Texas A&M, I'm going with them one more. You know what? I'm going to take y'all one more time, Texas A&M, just because I kind of believe in your quarterback. You're on the road, but Ole Miss looks top. They look very sharp against Alabama. That's been some weeks ago, but I'm going to take Texas A&M. Moving down a notch in college level, we've got some homecoming action. Bethune-Cookman takes on Norfolk State. Our beloved Bethune-Cookman, we're going to show them some love. They take on Norfolk State this weekend. We'll see you in Daytona in a couple of days. Who do you think is going to win that one? We just lost a tough one last week, A&T.
Yeah, man, and that one, you know, that's going to put us behind the 8-ball in terms of the MEAC in the conference.
Somebody beat the Aggies, though. Somebody beat them.
Yeah, I imagine that we
But
probably
somebody got beat them twice.
Yeah.
They got 2 losses.
That 5-way tie like last year. I'm going with the home team. I mean, you know, with the alma mater, I'm not going to pick against them. You know, that would just be blasphemous.
I'm with that. Something new we're going to go with, folks. The HBCU game of the week. A lot of folks have been emailing us and texting saying we should highlight more HBCU sports. So we're going to highlight it this week with Bowie State 4-0 taking on Virginia Union 4-0. A big game in the CIAA North. Who do you like in that matchup there?
That seems like
that's going to be Virginia Union.
That's a big game, 2 4-0 teams. In a case like this, you know, when you have 2 teams maybe evenly matched, good, both got strong records, you take the home team. You know, you have that crowd there and the band going crazy. That environment, you know, you get that boost by being at home.
Virginia Union has been putting up numbers and holding folks down with their strong defense. They're at home. I kind of like what I saw from Bowie a couple of weeks ago at their homecoming, but I'm still going to lean like you and take Virginia Union in this one. Again, folks, that's our HBCU game of the week. Text us or email us next week if you can put us down what you think maybe the HBCU game of the week next week. Moving up a notch, the NFL level. Big games on Thursday night football. You've got Seattle holding on for dear life at 2-4, going against San Francisco, holding on for dear life at 2-4. Colin Kaepernick is playing good football again. Seattle let one get away for the second straight week in a row where they were up by tons of points and let it slip. Who do you have in that game? Seattle favored by 6.5.
I'm gonna take Seattle. I mean, even though both record-wise are not strong, I just get the feeling that Seattle is the better team of the 2. San Fran played a little bit better the last few weeks, But in Seattle, I don't know what's going on up there.
A loss by Seattle here wouldn't put them out, but that would really be tough for their psyche.
Yeah, because I think more so, like you said, more so than the record being off, that just would be another chink in the
You had
armor.
the issues with the offensive coordinator, with Lynch's mom, Lynch being hurt. You had Cam being out. They've had a lot going on.
Yeah, they got a lot
But
going
with that being said, I think they're going to win a tough game on Thursday night. Even though I think Kaepernick will play well because he's been looking good lately, it's going to be tough. I think Russell Wilson will pull it out in the end. Local game, Redskins host Tampa Bay. Coach Gruden said this game is a cold red. Cold red, folks, which means all hands on deck. Does that mean Kirk Cousins' job's on the line? They got an off week next week. And for those who don't know, folks, it's homecoming at the Redskins. They're one of the few teams in the NFL to do homecoming. They got the band playing every game, but they do homecoming in Redskins. All the old vets come out. It's going to be a nice environment. Skins don't like losing at home. At homecoming, they lost a couple of them. Who do you like this week? And they are favored by 3.
Redskins favored by 3. Cold Red, get those chains off the doors. Like, lean
Like
on
the
me.
man said, lean on me. Yes,
I
sir.
mean, that lets you know that he knows his neck is on the line.
Hey,
You cashed your lot with Kurt, so and things haven't kind of worked out this year. So, Cold Red is that means it's tight around there. This is a tough game to call, to be honest with you. Both teams, even though the Redskins are at home, I do think they may be slightly better than Tampa. Tampa coming in with a rookie, even though Tampa, Gerald McCoy might have his way with that old line. I'm gonna be a homer on this one and go with the Skins.
I took the Skins last week, and they let me down. But they at home this week. Cold Red. Kurt has been taking HE double hockey sticks all week. Tampa Bay coming in. They look good. Week before last, they had an off week last week. They won a game. The young rookie quarterback, Brash from Florida State, #1 pick against this Redskin defense. I'm going to take a chance with him, and I'm going to say they're going to win. I'm going to take Tampa Bay out the blue and say they're going to surprise everybody for this one.
But that wouldn't be a big surprise.
Moving on, big game. The Jets take on the Patriots. Jets 4-1. Patriots are 5-0. New England's favored by 10.
That spread doesn't surprise me either. I mean, although they put up 34 against the Skins.
And we said that offense was unimaginable. Unimaginable. They looked off. They scored at will in the second half. Matter of fact, before we go back, I got to ask you this. I'm sorry, folks. We got to go back a notch. What's up with the third quarter with these Skins? Why can't they get anything going in the third quarter?
To me, that's about preparation from the coach or motivation or something. Something's not happening in that locker room to get that team ready to go for the second half of these games.
Okay, back to the Patriot game. Who you got?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way the Patriots, even if the Patriots aren't juggernauts on defense, there's no way that they're going to give up 34 points to the Jets. It's going to be a tough for a game. That's a divisional rival, game. And as much as we, may kid the Jets offense, that is a strong team. They definitely have a strong running game. They have Brandon Marshall, Decker. They have some weapons.
I'll keep it real. Honestly, their offense looked real impressive last week. It could be because they played the Skins, but I was impressed with Ivy. He ran well. Brandon Marshall, my fantasy team, been putting up numbers for me all year, but it was more about Fitzpatrick to me, controlling their offense and then scoring like he saw a ghost when he got the end zone, eyes as big as quarters, but he got the job done. But he won't get the job done this week. I like Tom Brady and the guys that go 6-0. This week, big game. The New York Giants host the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys coming off 3 straight losses and a bye week. They're going to try their hand with Matt Castle. Giants got smacked around on Monday Night Football to the Eagles. They're looking for a win. Who do you like in this game here? Giants are favored by 3.5. And remember, the Cowboys came back and beat the Giants in a heartbreaking fashion in week 1. And the phones are ringing off the hook. They're calling early. We're going to get that phone call after this quick break. They're calling early. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, there's no way I can pick Dallas without Romo and Dez Bryant playing. I mean, that would just be absurd. Even though the Giants looked shaky the other day, all season, they were playing a little bit better, and then to get smacked around by the Eagles like they did, I was stunned by that. That was very interesting. But there's no way I can pick Dallas with Romo and Dez Bryant out.
You don't buy Matt Castle? I mean, he did at one point with the Patriots go, was at 10-6. He did take, I think it was 11-5. He did take KC 11-5 at one point.
Yeah, but he's on Dallas now, so obviously he couldn't get something done
After some
that.
preparation, brought in a week away from the spotlight. You don't think he has enough to get it done?
Nah, I think Dallas is dead in the water until Romo and Dez Bryant get back, specifically Romo.
I think Dallas will get a win this week because they know they got to get a win. At least I think and hope so. Part of me says that was not going to happen, but I'm going to pick Dallas just because they know they got to get a win. It's on the road. The Giants owe them, though, because they know they let one get away. But I just got a funny feeling something will happen where it would be McFadden or someone will run the ball well to give some confidence to Matt Castle, and the Cowboys will squeak one out, I think. Moving over, Philadelphia going to Carolina. Philly looked good on Monday night. I was surprised. They looked real well. Sam Bradford shook off an early struggle, but they played well. Cam Newton, as we've already said, is playing MVP-style football right now. Who you like in that one?
I'm going with Cam in the Panthers. Philly is very kind of up and down. You just don't know what to expect from them from week to week. I mean, you lose to the Redskins and you come back and manhandle the Giants a little bit. So it's just, and you pop up and their record is 3-3 if I'm not mistaken, where it looked like they Chip was on his way to USC somewhere. But I'm still gonna stay with the Panthers until the Panthers lose. I'm gonna go with them. I'm liking what the Panthers are doing so far this year, so I'm gonna go with you.
Okay, folks, when we come back, we're going to take your emails. We're going to check the voicemail, see who that call was from when we wrap the show up after this quick, brief message.
I am Sammy. Last year I found out that I have high cholesterol.
I'm Sammy's dad. Due to my high cholesterol, I had quadruple bypass surgery at age 37. I later learned I probably had high cholesterol since childhood because I have an inherited form of the disease known as familial hypercholesterolemia, or FH. FH affects more than 600,000 Americans. I passed FH to Sammy, but not to Alyssa.
Luckily, I was diagnosed early.
Now we can take steps to manage Sammy's condition with diet, exercise, and medication, so we reduce the long-term damage of the disease. Unlike most other genetic diseases, FH is treatable, and it's best if it's caught early. If high cholesterol runs in your family, see a doctor and get screened. The earlier you know, the earlier you can tackle it, together. For more information, visit www.learnyourlipids.com.
Folks, welcome back. This email comes from Pop from District Heights, and it reads, Chuck, your sports show is cool and all, but when is the rec going to open back up for us to play basketball? Folks, the rec will be back open starting the first week of November. You got a couple more weeks. We'll be right back open November 2nd. Open gym and all that will be back in action starting at 3:30. We got another email coming from Maryland, Capitol Heights. His thing is, with the NBA coming up, what's up? No NBA preview? Can we get an NBA top 5 preview? All right, Mr. Merle in Capitol Heights, we'll give you a preview. Real quick, you want to give a quick rundown who you like in NBA? I mean, I know the season start. We'll go full throttle next week, but something brief for the email in.
You know.
And you didn't got to discuss team. You could say the conference, whatever, or players.
Yeah, I mean, you're still looking for the usual suspects, I guess. Golden State.
Oh.
Well, the Wizards, as far as I'm concerned, they're up in there. I'm hearing a lot about Miami, and I'm surprised about that.
Miami both.
But, Golden State, San Antonio,
Lakers,
Houston, Cleveland, Chicago, if Derrick Rose can never get off, get that karma from whatever he's done to it some way and get healthy. But, it looks like it's going to be a very interesting season this year. A lot of people got OKC, got their man back. They're going to be ready to go.
Oklahoma going to be tough. I'm sure I like them as the leading candidates out of the West. I mean, San Antonio's going to be stacked. They reloaded. I can tell you one thing. Portland lost 4 of their 5 guys in starting 5. I don't expect them to make it to the playoffs. A lot of folks are expecting a lot of things from Anthony Davis, Big Brow. Of course, with in the East side, everyone's loving the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're stacked. I like the Wizards. I'm thinking I like what I'm seeing from Otto Porter in preseason, so I'm loving that. Do not sleep on Milwaukee. And I'm going to tell you something else. They're young. I could be doing this because I'm a little upset my team, the Lakers, didn't pick them up. Do not sleep on Philly. I think Philly might raise some eyebrows this year just because of what they have. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoff. They're going to look a lot better than what they did before.
They definitely athletic.
Yes, very athletic. Folks, it's been a great show. It's been a great time. Awesome time as always. Check us out again. As myself, Mr. Shaka Bradley, we'll be seeing you next week for some more sports talk in the Sports Zone.